if I honestly reflect on who has made the biggest impact in my career, several people. J. Anthony Brown, who's on the Tom Joyner Morning Show, who was my very best friend in this business, he probably taught me more about the basics of comedy and how it works than anybody. J. Anthony Brown was the first black headliner that I ever worked with. Wasn't many. It was George Wallace, it was him, and Byron Allen, believe it or not. And that was it, man. And I worked with J. Anthony Brown, and he taught me a very important lesson. He said, hey, man, you have to be able to follow the world. And what that meant was, no matter who went on in front of you, you had to make sure that you was funny enough when they left for that they would remember you. That was a valuable lesson, man, because when somebody in front of you is really scorching that stage, you got to up your game. You may have to change your jokes that night because he could have touched on a premise of yours, could have done a joke similar to yours. So you had to be a real warrior out there. I think J. Anthony Brown, and was one of the funniest people I'd ever seen live on stage, man. Really was, man. Turned out to have a great friendship over the years. He was very inspirational. Bill Cosby taught me several things. To be honest with you, Bill Cosby taught me so much about this business and marketing and how to be. In spite of whatever he's going through right now, what he taught me back then was invaluable, man. I'll always love him for that. He's mentored my sons and helped my sons out through college, so I love him for that, Richard Pryor was the greatest comedic influence in terms of when I heard his album in college, I knew that's what I wanted to do. The Wanted album and albums like that, the Bicentennial album in '76. I was already long sold before the Bicentennial album, 1976. And he was the greatest influence. He was by far, to me, the funniest person ever lived, was Richard Pryor. I think those guys, and George Wallace, man, he came to Hilarity's Comedy Club. He was the first black headliner that I had ever saw. And man, sitting there looking at him, man, he was just beating his audience to death, man. He's so funny, man. And he's remained a great friend of mine and a constant inspiration. He's always there for me, whatever I call him. He's just a solid man. I think he paved the way. A lot of people don't know it, but if it wasn't for George Wallace, listen to me, there is no Def Jam, there is no BET Comic View, there is no me, there is no Martin Lawrence, no Damon Wayans, no Chris Rock, there is no Kevin Hart, there is no nobody, man. There is no kings of comedy, none of us. If there was no George Wallace, this does not happen. And people don't understand that, but he was making headway in all white comedy clubs, man, paving the way for us. But then he could easily play an all black crowd. This dude was phenomenal, man. One of the best, man, really. One of the best. And still does it, at a high level. So George Wallace, man, those guys like that, man, were such an influence, man. Of course, you watch Red Fox and Flip Wilson, Moms Mabley when I was a little kid. So influential to me. Even Rudy Ray Moore, man, that was XXX comedy, but that was the first comedy routine I ever memorized. I could recite Signifying Monkey as a little boy. I got beat for it, but I knew it verbatim, word for word, and I sounded like Rudy Ray Moore. Way down in the jungle deep, I did the whole routine on Christmas Day on a recorder my mama had bought for me. Church people came over and she thought it was empty and pressed play. signifying monkey came on in front of the church people. Wow, bad day for little Stevie. Bad day for little Stevie. Little Stevie got beat pretty bad that day.